Hello and welcome back to Fate Hollow Ataraxia. I have had just the craziest fucking last few days, especially today. Woke up, I got a speeding ticket from a speed trap a little while ago, so I was gonna go to the traffic court and be like, oh yeah, well, is this situation and at least not have this on my fucking insurance record so I don't get fucking charged out of the wazoo for that in the near future. It's like, yeah, that was going to be my day. Then I get out to my car, bam, completely dead. It's like a 2-year-old car too, and it's just like, what happened? I don't remember leaving anything on. Get that jump, some weirdness when I was getting it jumped, and it was like really dead maybe, and there might be something wrong with it, so I have to go to the dealership to have them check it out. They have to use their special big thing. I wait around there for 2 hours, and it's like, well, it's still going in their test and charging stuff. It's like, okay, I'll take a loaner, head back. Couple hours later, get another phone call, basically, hey, yeah, it's charged, the battery's fine. It's like, okay, but FYI, you have a recall on a fuel pump. We can't give you your car back until we replace this. Fantastic, I guess I'll keep the loaner. It's like, okay, loaner, figure this out later. An hour later, power went out. And it stayed out for the next 5-6 hours, and now, and this is the night before this is supposed to go up, and I already missed the previous one because I was busy this weekend, and I wanted this to be longer, and this is the worst just set of events in a single day that I've had for years. Just, oh, that's a great sign. I hope the power doesn't go out mid like me recording this. That would be horrible. One of my favorite sports teams is playing today too, so hopefully they don't get like blown out. Oh. Okay, let's start. What do I want to do? I pulled up some of the requested stuff. So let's I have been told that you unlock the pool scene for Rin first day at the station front. There's no new things for the station front, so either I need to do more stuff for that. But I also think I saw one with her in front of the station front in the afternoon for the 4th day, so I'm not sure if that was what it was supposed to be, and it was mistyped, so I might just go do that at some point. I guess I'll just fucking see. I'll just go do it right now. I have time. That's for sure. I stop at the electronics store. On a whim, I find myself wanting to go check out the latest appliances. That's what she said. A television with a particularly large screen catches my eye. One of these in our house would feel awfully out of place, wouldn't it? It's true that we have a lot of people, but none of them are big TV watchers. But doesn't that mean when you do watch TV, you really want to make it fun? Yeah, what, to fix it? TVs being high voltage appliances, picking a broken one up to fix myself is just too dangerous. Is it? I guess. This is the one thing I have no choice other than to buy new. Oh, you mean in general? The VCR we have right now is so outdated, it's practically a historic artifact. What year is it? Do you have DVDs yet? It's not as though we've ever had need of one so far, but I'd like to get a DVD recorder. A DVD recorder. That's a phrase I've never heard anyone utter. To poke around inside of one. To poke around inside of two. So, I grew up in the transition between analog and digital. So I remember having VCRs. I remember having DVDs. I remember having Blu-rays in the process of me growing up. Those were all relevant things in my childhood. If you consider childhood up to, like, you know, being an adult at 18 and whatnot. But still,
あれ？エミヤくんじゃない。こんなところで何してるの？
This is a great combination for picking out electronics.
遠坂か。というか、お前の方も。
An electronics store is the last place where I'd expect to run into this girl. If it were an antique furniture store or something, that would be more understandable somehow.
へえ、遠坂も買い替えとか考えてるんだ。
何言ってるの？私は偶然シロを見かけたからちょっと声をかけただけよ。
So you weren't even in the store?
そうなのか。そうだよな。
None of the products for sale here are anything more complicated than a vacuum cleaner. Seems like it would be way out of Tohsaka's range. Let's see. One sec. Okay. 2004. So I would have been around 10 at this time. So I guess I would have been around the age of, this is 6 months later, so it's later in there. I would have been around the age of, like, those kids Saber was playing soccer with during this time frame. I seem to recall that I know someone who's unable to use any device with more than 10 buttons on it. By the way, that someone is Tohsaka. Oh, here's a question, if anyone knows and is willing to answer. Is the more recent stuff involving Fate, does it have any, like, in the future sort of aspect to it? This is freaking 17 years in the past, yeah? So, is there any, like, adult Emiya? Like, proper, like, established, outworking in his, like, 30s and maybe early 40s or something, whatever it would be at this point, sort of thing? I'm curious if it's been long enough where they'd be willing to do that, or if everything just ends up being straight up, you know, it's this one time frame.
エミヤくん、ひょっとして今ものすごく無礼なこと考えてない？
At least involving this set of characters, I mean.
多少は無礼かもしれない。いや、遠坂はほら。
機械苦手だって言いたいんでしょ？
Well, that is a phrase he wasn't trying to use, which means you probably believe it yourself to some extent, yeah?
苦手っていうか、あんまり触れようとしないだろ？あの遠ざけっぷりはアレルギー寸前というか、機械関係じゃさくらにも。
She's mad. That's just how humans are. You don't know if speaking the truth to someone will result in joy or anger.
で、シロ、そういう風に私を見ていたのね。
いいじゃんか。遠坂、大抵のことはさらっと片付けるだろ？一つぐらい欠点があってもいいんじゃないか？
Actually, speaking of fatal flaws, she's got another glaring one that comes to mind, but I don't dare speak it out loud.
ありがとうとは言っておくわ。けど、すべてに弱点なしが我が家の理想だし、いつまでも苦手言ってられないわよね。
Oh, so do you want to get better? Is this a task you want to place upon yourself to educate yourself on technology?
そっか。じゃあ、少しは勉強する気でやってきたのか？
それはまた後の話よ。こういうのは綾子に教わって、もっと最先端の機器になれないと。
I don't think that helps, because cutting edge probably means nothing to someone who doesn't understand the fundamentals.
三綴は俺より情報家電関係は詳しいと思うな。
She used to be the captain of the archery club, and she certainly has the air of a martial artist about her, but contrary to that old-fashioned image, Mrs. Uri does keep up to date with the latest in game centers and such. That the subject of the conversation fails to turn to Emmy doesn't do that, though, is somewhat annoying. According to the archery club members, she can spend all night long playing simple, repetitive games. Like what? Give me an example.
で、三綴に教わる前に予習しに来たと。
まあね、アナクロアンティーク女って思われるのも不本意だし。
I think you're a little late on that part.
何も19世紀の人間じゃないから一応それなりにわかるわよ。あの辺が液晶ディスプレイでしょ。
Ooh, and what does that mean? Quiz time. What Tohsaka is pointing to is the very same big screen liquid crystal TV I was looking at before. Good going, Tohsaka. You sure got that one right. I wonder if she figured that out based on how thin it is. Or maybe there's a label. So, do you know the difference between plasma and LCD then? Oh, that is an old question. That is an old question. I look over at my beautiful OLED TV. Oh, I love it. A question like that would likely stop her in her tracks, so I opt to keep my mouth shut.
さっき見てたけど、エミヤくんは欲しいの？
あったらいいなと思うけど、懐の余裕がない。さらに俺の家に似合わない。
私の家にもね。あんなにするの？
They're cutting edge electronics, man. Also, yeah, they were really, really expensive. Just wait 10 years and it'll be much cheaper. At least for something equivalent.
ルビー20カラットくらい買えるじゃない。
One look at the price tag makes Tohsaka go pale. Having gemstones as their basis of comparison seems awfully luxurious or incredibly old-fashioned. In my case, I wonder how many months worth of food budget it would take.
そうね。私たちにはミニすぎたアイテムよね。
我が家には画面が小さいことに不満を持つのはいないからな。
で、あの辺がビデオデッキ。
Video decke. Tohsaka's not pointing to...
残念、違う。
嘘！だってあの形ってビデオじゃない。
いや、あそこだろ？あれは再生専用の DVD プレイヤーだ。
That's not the important part, man. I lead Tohsaka over to the recording equipment section and take a look around. Well, I don't really blame her for being confused by all this.
どういうこと？
Oh my goodness. Take Tohsaka from this... Just 17 years makes a huge difference in how things have, changed.
これが再生用。こっちが HDD プラス DVD-RW。こっちが HDD プラス DVD-RAM。これが HDD 専用レコーダーで、この辺が CS デジタルの。
Read write? Is that? I mean, HDD obviously hard drive. It's one with an internal hard drive that can do it. RW and RAM. I'm trying, I know what RAM is, obviously. RW might be read write. I mean, outside of maybe just some random letters they put at the end of the model. Trying to think if there's a functional difference that could be potentially between those two. Yes, you know what's fun? I work for a company that uses acronyms for everything, and it's just like this with most people too, until they get used to the acronyms that are relevant in their area of work. Like everything's a 3-letter acronym. Just because there's so much going on with everything. In the midst of my explanation, I gradually realized that Tohsaka is glaring at me with enmity. The gulf between Tohsaka and I, when it comes to the subject of magical knowledge, on one hand, and the modern technical knowledge on the other, is particularly apparent right now. And the longer Tohsaka stands here in this electronics store, the further away she somehow seems to be moving from the world. Hey Tohsaka, have you ever considered summoning yourself as a servant? You'd get all that knowledge of the modern world. Yay!
何その呪文。
俺もかなり呪文じみてないかと思う。そのうちブルーレイと HD-DVD が来るとか。
Man, was that... So I know Blu-ray and HD-DVD got its big kickstart in terms of being relevant in basically around when the PS3 and Xbox 360 launched. I guess that was 2005, 2006. I'm not sure if they would have been notable names well before that though. That was really early on because it was like the Betamax versus VCR sort of competition where there was two formats vying to be the standard of the industry, and Blu-ray won out, basically.
青い光線ってビデオはどこに？
あの辺まだ需要あるからな。
You should be able to tell one by single glance, I think, which may be a bit harsh. It's like you take your eyes off them for a moment and suddenly the varieties multiply. Makes me nostalgic for the golden age of VHS from my childhood.
これテレビを録画するものでしょ？
I think VHS and... I don't know how long VHSs were relevant. I think I grew up when they, like, while they were super relevant, and they went away during that time frame. So I definitely didn't go through the entirety of it, but things have definitely sped up in terms of how quickly formats become outdated, especially in the era of streaming.
必ずしもそれだけじゃないけど、そんな遠坂はやっぱりあれだな。写真を撮ると魂が奪われるって感じの。
奪えるわよ。
Of course.
レンズと印画紙にしかるべき処置を施せば素材になるわよ。まあ奪うんじゃなくて一時的に停止させるが正しいんだけど。
Fantastic. Can you explain to me what a soul is and how a soul works from like a technical level?
デジカメでも
What, Clam? Tohsaka murmurs. Realizing that she doesn't even know what a digicam stands for leaves me incapable of delivering a witty comeback. I don't think I've ever heard anyone refer to a digital camera as a digicam, though. Sounds like
そのなんだっけ DVD?
Digicam sounds like a type of Digimon to me, honestly.
デジタルバーサタイルディスク、略して DVD。
Is that right? I thought it was digital video disc. I guess it doesn't need to be that. I could be versatile.
ラムと RW って言ってたけど何が違うの？
Even though I was speaking so knowledgeable to her about this stuff, that one might be beyond me. I doubt I could clearly explain the difference between the two. It seems... I don't know, is it the difference between having a RAM and a straight read-write? Where it just read-writes it down onto, like, the... Because it was an HDD model, where it just writes it directly to the hard drive, while RAM might have, like, Oh, that might be it. The RAM might be saving temporary memory of what was recorded so it can go back, while the read-write is direct, and it might be something like that. That might be it. Just logically. It seems that some people can get worked up into a nearly religious fervor over the finer points of these things, but having never really used either, it's outside the realm of my understanding. Religious fervor. Oh boy. If Tohsaka can't pick up on this now when Blu-ray's starting to become relevant, she is fucked.
ごめんなさい。よくわかりません。
ほらご覧なさい。シロでもそうなら私なんかもっとわからなくて仕方ないわよ。私にしてみると最近のこういうのの方がよっぽど魔術じみてるわ。
I mean, isn't that like the opposite of an excuse for you? Also, you just said that your ideal is to not be bad with these, yeah? Come to think of it, I know there's some guy who once said that sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I mean, yes. I am of the opinion where I find it way more interesting in literally every single lore of any sort of game or story if everything in terms of the logic of how things work is born from the same place. So like the magic of this world, I don't know if it is, but it would be more interesting to me if it was like based on the same science that they make the tech off of and whatnot. It's just like an interpretation of the world that makes the magic work or something like that. It's not like this whole independent system or something like that.
なあ、遠坂、悲観することはないぞ。人間 DVD がなくても生きていける。
Oh, that is giving up.
そのうち電話やテレビみたいに なんとか生きていけるって話になるわよ。まったく私もあなたも綾子に旧時代の人間だって笑われるわね。
I can definitely imagine Mrs. Suri laughing. You're saying something like, you're completely analog to her. But she doesn't know what a VHS is. Isn't that literally the analog solution? That is like the... She's not even analog. Whatever. Because I'm, and not as though she could just shoot back with, that's because I'm a magus after all, no matter how much she might want to.
この辺も買うとかシロも。
我が家のチャンネル争いが深刻化する前にって考えてるけど、安くはないな。
エミヤの家も大所帯になったわね。ああ、私もか。
Tohsaka gives a small laugh as though she only just realized that she too is among those people.
あと 2,3 人は収容可能だから気にするな。
That would be neat.
エミヤくん、下宿の寮夫とかペンションのオーナーとか似合いそうよね。
That does seem like that would be, you know what? That actually. So I remember having, I don't know if it came up as like someone mentioning it or something, where when I was playing through Trails of Cold Steel, the main character in that Reen, where it's just like at a point where it's like, man, it feels like you'd do really well in a teaching profession, that sort of thing. It feels like that would fit your personality, your skill set, and what you want out of life really well. They eventually made him a teacher. It's part of the story there. Emiya, that totally feels like that fits him perfectly. He should run like an Airbnb one day. No, they should make a story with Emiya in his 40s running an Airbnb. That should be the entire fucking... Oh, yes. Yes, if that's not a thing, that needs to be a thing. That would be fantastic. I'd like that. She said it would, but that's pretty much what I'm doing already. I mean, sure, but you know. At any rate, when the time comes that I'm able to strike out on my own as Magus, how will my life change from the way it is now?
そういう生活も悪くはないという。
ま、シロが隠遁する暇なんか私が与えないから安心しなさい。さて、ここにいてもすることないんだから他に行きましょう。
Tohsaka seems to have unilaterally decided that I'll accompany her over today. Fine with me, although I can tell I'm in for a hard time later. She didn't even get halfway through with her so-called study of electronics, did she? That was fun, and not what I was thinking it might be, so I guess it is just what it is. Now then, speaking of things to ask Ryder about... Oh, there are two? I think have a look probably is the most likely, right? To be the night thing that I was told that I should do. Because that was one of the things that I was building up to as part of the chain of things I was requested to do. As I passed by Ryder's room, I heard voices from inside.
なんだけど、これはどう？ですが。
Inside is Ryder and Sakura? It's not strange to see them in one another's rooms, given how friendly their master-servant relationship is, but something is different about the enthusiasm in this conversation.
なのですが。もう、そんなこと言ってたらライターも。
From what I've seen, Ryder's usually the more assertive of the two, while Sakura is the more passive. But now Sakura's more eager, while Ryder sounds hesitant.
おや、そこにいるのはシロですか?
Uh-oh. As expected of Ryder, this thin sliding door may as well not even be here. Her voice is unusually stiff and formal. Maybe she's feeling a bit self-conscious with Sakura there.
ああ、悪いな。通りがかりで声が聞こえちまった。すぐ行くから勘弁な。あ、
ちょうどいいところに。先輩も来てください。Sakura?
Sakura calls me into the room. Strangely, Ryder seems to be very troubled. I'm guessing she's trying on clothes, and Sakura's all like, but you have a great figure, and you don't have to do anything to, keep it.
中に入ってもいいのか?
さくら、これは。先輩だって、きっと私と同じ意見のはずだから。
Also given,
ライダー
also given Ryder's other stuff, it's probably some... Is it gonna look cute? I wonder. She did seem to want to desire that based on the flashbacks. Or is it gonna look elegant, which would probably suit her better? Or it could be some wildcard thing that would be... In response, I hear a sigh that is strangely filled with resignation. I feel like it would be bad to intrude, but turning down the invitation would be even worse.
お茶でも入れて持ってこようか。
いえ、お気遣いだけで結構です。じゃあ、私が入れてきますね、先輩。
The door slides open and Sakura steps out. She's smiling brightly, in sharp contrast to Ryder, who's wearing a grim expression inside the room.
紅茶でいいですよね。
それなら、お茶受けはいつものところにあったはずだ。言ってる。
After nodding, Sakura disappears down the hall. Now then, sure enough, I'm so worried about whether or not waiting in Ryder's room is a good idea. You could wait in the door frame. It's sort of inside and outside without, committing to either.
入っていいか、ライダー。
Ryder nods. A gloomy welcome as something seems off. It's strange to see Ryder look so troubled after speaking with Sakura. Oh, okay, you're not wearing anything. That is more surprising than anything at this point. The reason for that soon becomes apparent as I enter the room. There are fashion magazines spread open around the cushions that Ryder and Sakura were sitting on. Okay, so are they just looking at the magazines, discussing what would look good on her or something? And she's being insecure about it because she has a complex about that because of her sisters? Ryder is seated in the center of them, like a doe surrounded by mirrors. She looks like she hasn't slept a week all night. That was a terrible analogy.
これがどうかしたのか。
I pick one up. The model was a beauty, but frankly speaking, the writer in front of me was better in terms of raw material. However, the purpose of this kind of magazine is probably to look at the clothes instead of the models themselves. Yeah, I think the models are there to show off the clothes.
困りました、シロ。
ライダーがさくら相手に困るのも珍しいな。
さくらが私に。いえ、大したことはないと言えばないのです。
Ryder replies evasively, but somehow I'm able to piece together what's happened. It was Sakura, not Ryder, who brought these magazines, so it's only natural to assume things would turn out like this.
さくらがいろいろと？
はい。
I understand what she's trying to say. Sakura brought those magazines and catalogs and broadly started asking which outfit suited Ryder. Of course, she was also looking for which suited herself just as much. But before long, Sakura's main objective shifted to Ryder.
そうですよ。ライダーったらもうちょっと女の子っぽくしてもいいのに。
I mean, fashion's fashion. Sakura returned at that moment. She hands out the teacups, but Ryder sinks into silence like usual. Jeans and a turtleneck is a style unto itself.
先輩もそう思いませんか？
まあ、そう思わなくもないけど。
Don't admit to ever thinking about that before, Emiya. Sakura's concerned about how Ryder dresses. I can certainly see why. She may look nice dressed in jeans, but certainly I can't help but think of what a waste it was when she has such a nice figure. The feeling I get from her is a little different than from Sakura, whose charms are enough to even overwhelm me at times. Ryder's style is also different from those of the Tidy Saber and the Kuran Tohsaka.
だから、ライダーももっと可愛い格好をすれば似合うんです。こんな風に。
She has a complex about her height. I'm not totally in disagreement with her concerns over it in the insecurities. It depends on the clothes. Cute could work, but it depends on, the clothes properly suiting that. Saying that, Sakura holds out a magazine in front of me. The page shows a skirt-wearing figure that makes me think, yeah, this model is cute. I visualize Ryder wearing this. The person in front of me that's being dressed inside my head clearly looks troubled. I imagine Ryder in this kind of outfit, but at the same time, an image of a bewildered Ryder being forced into wearing something that doesn't belong on her floats into my mind.
でもライダーったら全然乗り気じゃないんですよ。
I think I understand the conversation from earlier now. If Ryder's this unmotivated, then that talk was probably going nowhere fast.
なるほど。
I also understand why Sakura invited me in to help support her. I understand, but...
どう思うと言われてもな。
セイバーさんは姉さんが着せ替えていろいろ面白そうなのに。
I feel like I've never actually seen that happen, but okay.
彼女は可憐ですから。私とは違う。
Ryder replies sullenly. Cute, unlike me. Sakura and I exchange glances just at hearing the tone of those words. I wouldn't necessarily disagree. You don't really I wouldn't say that you can't be cute, but I'd say you have a much more elegant style aura about you. Which is good in its own way, but tends to overwhelm the cute aspect.
確かにセイバーは可愛いけどライダーも綺麗だぞ。
セイバーさんに似合うのはこの辺じゃないかって思うんですけど、でもこういうのはライダーにはちょっと違いますよね。
Right, and there's things that suit Ryder that wouldn't suit Saber. Sakura shows us a page with a one-piece dress adorned with many frills and ribbons. It would look good on Saber, but yeah, it really doesn't suit someone like Ryder.
確かに。でもこっちだと似合いそうだぞ。
本当ですね。いいですね。かっこいいな。
Sakura gazes blissfully at a formal black suit displayed on the same page. A suit? Because Ryder is tall and has such well-defined limbs, a smart outfit like this really stands out.
私がこういうのを着てもきっと新入社員の面接みたいだって言われちゃいそう。
ライダーならやり手の社長秘書って感じだよな。
Is that really what you want to go for? Ryder's obviously embarrassed. As if nearing her limit, she speaks softly while sipping her tea.
私は可愛くありませんから。ここまで背が高くてはどうにも。
Looks like Ryder is really sensitive about that. It's true she is taller than the average woman, but I don't think that's enough to declare herself ugly. I don't know, it depends what you're I mean, like, cute's different than elegant. Elegant's different than just like sort of a casual... I don't know, I feel like there's a bunch of different like styles you can do, and cute's just sort of part of that. Why do I have such weirdly strong opinions about this? How tall is Ryder? I'm gonna look that up. What? 5'6". She is 5'6". No, Ryder, no. My freaking goodness. My stepmother, my father's wife, she's like 5'10" or something like that. She's on the taller side for women. She looks fine. She legitimately is like well above average for how women typically are. And you're insecure about it at 5'6". Yeah, I think that's above average. Still. Maybe because that's like, I'm like, personally, I'm 6'3". And it's just like, what? That is so much shorter than I thought. I thought you were gonna be like 6 foot, and it's like that's not like super duper like ridiculously tall, like just in general. But it would be very tall for a woman. And I thought, yeah, no, okay, no. I sort of get being insecure at like that sort of like 5'10", 6 foot height, but she's 5'6". How short is everyone else?
そんなことないですよね、先輩。ライダーは可愛いですよね。
Yeah, no, like, if anything, oh my goodness, 5'6", you could easily pull off cute like that. It has nothing to do with your height. if there's a problem with you pulling off cute, it has more to do with your general style and, everything else with your body. Oh my god. Ryder, really? I am so less... I am so less empathetic towards her insecurities about that.
綺麗というか可愛いというか、とにかく可愛くないなんてことはない。
大女ですよ、私は。古来よりこんなに背が高くて力持ちな女が可愛らしいなどという話はありません。
You are not tall in the way that you're implying. Ryder keeps stubbornly denying her cuteness. But I also think that stubborn way she acts just makes her cute all the more. I'm starting to understand why Sakura has been encouraging Ryder to try new types of clothing.
そうかな。ちゃんと似合うのにな。
そもそも私の服はサイズが合えばいいのです。さくらにそこまで気を使っていただかなくてもよろしいのですが。
At 5'6", do you really have problems finding clothes that fit? Oh my god. And I know the like normal average height is probably a bit lower in Japan, but she's not from Japan. And I also think humanity is typically grown? Still, whatever. With this, the conversation is concluded, so it would seem that Ryder was trying to communicate, or so it would seem that Ryder was trying to communicate. However, both Sakura and I feel like bullying her a little longer, or at least somehow I feel that way. Eye contact successful.
ねえ、先輩。今度一緒にライダーのお洋服選びに行きませんか？
ああ、俺でいいのなら喜んで。
Ryder gazes in shock as the two of us casually reach an agreement. While Ryder is stunned into silence, Sakura and I keep talking.
どこがいいかな。俺そういうのはあまり詳しくないんだけど。
シントのベルデの中にいろいろありますから、そこで選びましょう。秋冬物ももう揃ってますし、私も選びたいのもありますから。
いえ、その。
もちろんライダーが主役だから、ちゃんと先輩のお眼鏡にかなう可愛いのを見つけちゃいます。だからライダーもね。
Right. Ryder winces at Sakura's emphasis on that last word, looking as though being cornered in a match. And then she looks at me pleadingly.
いいんじゃないか。たまには3人で買い物に出かけよう。
And checkmate. If it's just Ryder and I, she would refuse immediately, but since Sakura's involved as well, she cannot refuse.
そこまでさくらやシロウに言われては仕方ありません。ふつつかながらお供させていただきます。
やったー！先輩、今度一緒に行きましょうね。
Sakura is overjoyed while Ryder seems to have resigned herself to her fate. In any case, it looks like I've made a promise to go out with Sakura and Ryder. Sorry, Ryder. But I want to do this because Sakura is in such high spirits, so it doesn't really feel like I'm forcing Ryder to do something unpleasant.
うわ、しかし俺責任重大だな。ライダーに似合う可愛いものを選ばなきゃいけないんだから。
大丈夫です。ライダーだったら何でも似合います。こんなにスタイルがいいんですから。私も。
そうはおっしゃいますが、さくらは私が及ばないほど可愛いではないですか。シロウだってそう思っているに違いありません。
Attractiveness is a lot more related to the mental side, as much as people may want to act otherwise. I think that's probably not a discussion that would be, worthwhile at this moment. Sakura's thrown out by Ryder's words. Isn't changing the topic like that foul play? Seems like Sakura is angry with me.
そんなことないですよね、先輩。
ないわけはないだろう。だってさくらは
Ryder's toyed with until the last minute, but it seems she's recovered a bit of her mood now. Picking out clothes for Ryder, huh? I'm not really cut out for that kind of thing, but I am interested in the result.
さて、そろそろ飲まないとせっかく入れてもらったお茶が冷めます。
もう先輩もライダーも
5 fucking 6. A date with Sakura? Okay. Not with Ryder? Okay, no, that's fine. Well, this seems like an interesting one to be associated with the main story in her, so sure. As I cross the pedestrian bridge, I see something that grabs my attention.
あれ、Tohsakaのクラスの三枝?
From the way she's walking in tiny steps that are almost hops, she... They sort of caught in my throat there. From the way she's walking in tiny steps that are almost hops, she has to be Saigusa. Why? We haven't made... She's walking in tiny steps that are almost hops. Are you saying she's skipping? Like, I'm not... I actually am very confused by that. We haven't made eye contact, and ordinarily it wouldn't be strange for us to pass each other by like this, but...
驚いたな。ユキカはホムラハラの人だったんだ。僕もっと若いかと思ってた。実はそうなの。ごめんねギル君。私本当はずっと年上なんだ。
Uh-oh, this is a weird combination.
謝るのは僕の方だ。今のは失言だった。女の人に年を聞くなんて男性失格だからね。けど僕はちょっと嬉しいかな。ユキカとは友達でいるよりお姉さんっていてくれた方がいい。ありがとう。私もギル君みたいなおとなしい弟さんが羨ましいです。うちの確かにコウタたちは元気すぎるかな。毎日怖いもの知らずで走り回ってるし、ユキカも大変だ。そうなの。ギル君、うちの弟たちが無茶しそうになったら止めてあげてね。私が言っても聞いてくれないけど、ギル君の言うことならちゃんと聞いてくれるでしょ。あの子たちギル君を尊敬してるから。それは違う。ユキカの言うことはちゃんと聞いてるよ。僕がいなくても心配はいらない。コウタたちはユキカを悲しませることはしないからね。まあ逆に困らせようとしているのが問題なんだけど、あればっかりは僕でもいさめられないからな。
和気あいあいっぽいけど、あいつ三枝と何やってんだ?
He seems like a much better person as a child, so I'm actually not that worried. I hide behind a bench and continue observing. That blonde boy is unmistakably Gilgamesh. Better known as Child Gil, the charismatic kid who's lately become a godfather to the brat mafia of the Miyama kids.
ところでユキカ、今日は陸上部の練習はないんだよね。午後の予定は真っ白？真っ白。お洗濯は午前中に済ませちゃったから、晩ご飯までゆっくりしようかなって。そっか、公園には散歩に来たんだね。よかった。たまたま保護者に嫌気がさして公園に出てきたんだけど、風向きが変わってきた。僕の幸運も捨てたもんじゃないね。
Wait. Trouble at home? Where are you living?
ギル君のお母様ってあれ？コウタたちから聞いた？母親じゃなくて保護者なんだけどね。これが気難しい人で些細なことで怒るんだ。ユキカとは正反対。いや、比べることさえ失礼かな。あっちはただの主人で、ユキカは僕の好きな人だからね。
Who? It's not like Karen, could it? Could it be?
ほんと、どうせ保護者がいるのなら ユキカがマスターだったらよかったのに。え、マスター？それよりうん、好きな人言ったでしょ。友達でいるよりお姉さんがいいって。ユキカはどう？年下は初めて？
Uh-oh, no, okay. He's not a good person in this form. Never mind.
ギル君？
Okay, step in, Emiya. Step in, Emiya.
あいつついに本性を出しやがったな。
That I'm a good little boy routine was all just an act, just as I thought. At this rate, the rabbit like Sayusa will be gobbled up.
待てそこ。憩いのバトル公園で何する気だこの式状況。
I say to like a 10-year-old.
あ、お兄さん。
Sayusa separated from the blonde kid with a cry of surprise. On the other hand, Jadyo shoots a disgruntled look in my direction.
さよなら、エミヤ君。私はよう思い出しちゃったので、こんにちは。
Whoosh, she runs away at the speed of a wild rabbit. I'm just happy you're okay. You're the last person in this series that deserves anything bad to happen to them. She was so startled that I began to feel bad about what I did. No, I'm just happy I stopped anything bad from happening.
まったく、誰が式状況ですか。お兄さんにだけは言われたくありませんね。
Yeah, well, canonically, I'm pretty sure I'm still a virgin, so meh.
事実だろ。なんで三枝に粉かけてんだよお前。何の遊びか知らないけど世の中にはからかっていいやつと悪いやつがいるんだからな。
あ、そっちのが失礼です。僕は真剣にユキカが好きなんだから。
嘘だって。いや確かにこういうのを疑うのは失礼だよな。ああ、その本当に本気で？
嘘偽りはありません。生涯の伴侶にはユキカのような女性が理想です。
While I don't disagree with that, I think you might have... Yeah. He says such an embarrassing thing so boldly that I begin to feel embarrassed for doubting him.
それは遊び扱いして悪かった。しかしだな、どんな風の吹き回しだよ。
I mean, I'm more concerned about the fact that you're like a freaking 10-year-old or whatever, and you wanted to make a move on someone nearly double your current age or something like that.
お前、セイバーが好きなんじゃなかったのか？
Oh yeah. I had forgotten about that.
セイバーさんは日輪ですからね。僕はあんまり興味ありません。家臣としては使いようがあるんでしょうけど、添い遂げる相手としては失格です。
I mean, even your older self saw her more as a prize, right?
恐ろしいこと言うな。要するにあれか、三枝の家庭的なところというか包容力があるところが良いと。
それは勘違いですよ、お兄さん。ユキカは包容力があるんじゃなくて、誰かに庇護されなくちゃいけない人です。
Huh?
僕は大輪のバラより野に咲く花の方が大事なんです。素朴な花を素朴なままでどれだけ守ってあげられるか、それが男性の包容力だと思っていますから。
Interesting. That also feels slightly degrading, in like the opposite direction as the Saber comment. I am speechless. In short, this kid is saying that Sakusa might lack any redeeming features, but that's a really good thing in itself. What should I do about this? I might really find myself coming to like this guy. What? What? He was just... I don't really think that was a nice thing to say. I don't actually think that.
つまり好きな相手を支配するんじゃなくて大事に育てて見守るのがお前の愛情表現なのか？
Yeah, but if you can't respect them, that's horrid in its own way. If you're still doing it sort of as a sense of pride, you're just sort of recontextualizing what you consider your, like, weird like demonstration and proving of your amazingness or whatever, right?
支配なんてものは支配されたい人間にしか通じないルールです。そのあたりどうも年を取ると忘れちゃうみたいでして、願わくば僕はいい指導者でありたかったんですけどね。
Okay. I guess this is a very interesting take on his childhood personality, where he's still sort of a decent person, but you can sort of see the roots of sort of being shitty that develop over time, yeah?
ほんとどうしてみんなに怖がられるようなことするかな。
Wow. For the good of all the people in the world, this king should stay as a child. Definitely. No doubt about it.
あ、けどさ、それだけ手を入れて自分好みに実らなかったらどうするんだよ。見守るってことは強制しないってことだろ。見守った結果、ほら、なんだ、お前が苦手なマスターと同じになったらどうするんだ。
その時は切り捨てるだけですね。僕とは縁がなかったということで。
Yeah, you can definitely see the roots of what he becomes. I take back the previous statement. This guy hasn't changed one bit. That callousness is a part of his very nature that nobody can ever hope to change. What changed was how he viewed the world, less so his actual core personality.
じゃあ、三枝が遠坂みたいになったら、それで愛情は冷めるわけか。
愛情は冷めません。ただそれ以上愛情のメモリが増えなくなるだけです。永遠に変わらないものになるんですね。増えることもないけど死ぬこともない。一度得た愛情は消えません。可愛さ余って憎さ云々っていうのは違うんですよ。それは単に新しく生まれた憎しみが今まで培った愛情を超えただけの話なんです。
That feels naive. I mean, I sort of get it, but the idea that your feelings don't go away, the love doesn't go away, feels naive. So, for example, a boy who currently believes in both the good and evil of humanity, one day is overcome by such hatred so as to render that love worthless to him.
まあ、そういうケースもあるということです。
Is Emiya referring to himself via his archer state? Or is this supposed to be a reference to Gilgamesh's development in some way?
どんなに人道に反する男でも困ったことに愛情は生きている。それが人々には同じものに見えてしまって、結果人間として恨まれることになる。ええ、いっそ完全な非人間ならその男は神様なんだって区別されるんでしょうけどね。
Bidding me farewell, the blonde child turns on his heel. Boy is currently believes in both the good and evil of humanity. One day he's overcome such hatred to render that love worthless to him. Actually, could that be referring to Avenger, even? Because if only he had just been entirely inhuman to begin with, he could have been designated as a god instead. That feels on the nose for Avenger. Bidding me farewell, the blonde child turns on his heel. You know, it's actually pretty... It speaks pretty well of the thematics of the story that you can see something so vague and you think, that could apply to this, or maybe it could apply to this, or maybe it could apply to this. He isn't heading in the direction of Saigusa that Saigusa ran off to, but rather towards the bridge to Shinto.
おい、三枝を追いかけるんじゃないのか？
要件は果たせたからいいです。ユキカは弟思いだから、もしかしたら夜まで帰りの遅い弟たちを探しているかもしれない。それ危ないでしょ？今日は4日目。夜の橋は一番危険なんだから、万が一ってこともある。けどお兄さんのおかげでユキカは家に帰ったし、少なくとも明日まではここには寄りつかない。
Interesting. Was that actually your goal?
ちょっと惜しかったけど、僕としてはまあまあ許容範囲の結末でした。
Huh. Neato. And with a perfectly unperturbed smile on his face, the King of Heroes departs, and that totally seems like the main reason this is a main story thing. Suddenly, I feel unnecessarily sentimental. Although he seems to be as capricious as ever in the face of this irregularity, maybe he's finding just as much to treasure in these carefree days as the rest of us. Interesting. Very interesting, at the very least. And my humblest of opinions. I actually think I've done most of the stuff people requested. If there's something I'm straight up forgetting outside of like the date and pool stuff, let me know. Because it feels like that's the main stuff left for what people suggested, and then the main story. So that's probably gonna be my goals for the rest of this. Trying to make these a bit longer, so because I missed the last one. After finishing lunch, I walked through the school building. Even though it's a holiday, I can see people here and there. It's probably the students who are working hard at their club activities. I'm sure the building where the music and art rooms are is even more crowded. For some reason, I turn around. Nothing in particular stands out. I thought I heard steps, so... The only odd part is the fact that I had no reason to look behind me. This happened before. This definitely happened before. I remember something related to this. I suddenly get an urge to drink some tea and head towards the student council room. I peer into the classroom from the hall, and just as I thought, I can see several students inside. The hallway isn't exactly quiet, but behind me, it's silent, even though I can hear people's voices from in front of me as I walk ahead. When I turn around, the hallway behind me is completely silent, like someplace else altogether.
なんで振り返ったんだろう?
Is there something in particular that stands out? There's no reason for me to turn around. I don't understand if there's some reason for me to look behind me, but... Like if I felt to chill, but just looking back for no particular reason makes me feel uneasy. Ghost stories are getting popular lately, and I can see this becoming one. Story about having an urge to turn around while there's no reason to.
まあ、この時期の学校らしいといえばらしいのか。
Is it? Is it really? Entrance exams are closing in, and a lot of students are becoming overly sensitive under the stress. These past 4 days, I've had a lot to think about, so I may just be worn out without realizing it.
そうだな。おとなしく帰って休もう。
The student council room can wait for another time. I walk down to the hall. I walk down the hall, controlling the frequent urge to look back. I leave the school. I swear if that's okay.
気のせいじゃないぞこれ。
It's like, damn it, if that's really all of it. Oh! Ah, yeah, someone's hiding. Something's there. I can't see it, but something's staying close behind me. I saw purple. Ilya?
まさかまだついてきてるんじゃないだろうな二人。
I stare into any hiding place I can see. Maybe I should look behind me in a place where there isn't a whole lot of hiding place options. But there's no trace of them. You think it's the maids?
気のせいか。俺も神経が過敏になってるのかな。
I shrug my shoulders in relief. Maybe I'll buy grapefruit or something on my way home and try imitating aromatherapy.
そこだ。
Yes! It was her! After making a feint, I make a ferocious dash for the stairs. I feel like I saw something familiar dash down the stairs. I'm not completely sure, but it was probably...
しかし、それにしたってなんで?
I don't understand the motive, but there may be something behind all this. Even if I try to chase after her, I won't be able to catch up. So maybe it would be best to pretend I didn't see anything and head home. I keep doing this.
やっほー、奇遇だねシロー。
What are you trying to do, Ilya?
学校はこれで終わり。
Before I knew it, Ilya had gotten to the school gate and was waiting for me there. I am slightly concerned as to why she was following me around, but it would be pretty thoughtless of me to pry when she's this happy. No. It would be, why were you following me around? No, Ilya. Don't try to change the subject. Why were you following me around? Say it.
ああ、 手がかりはないかって歩き回ってたけど、ここらで切り上げようかと思って。イリアは散歩の帰りか？
私も気晴らしに観察してたの。普段は人が多いから少ない時を狙ってね。結果はまあ退屈はしなかったかな。
I feel a bit guilty. It would have been better to show her something more interesting, like the gym or the music room, than to walk in circles through the hallways.
面目ない。お互い大した成果はなしか。
それでいいんじゃない？初めから手に残るようなものは期待してなかったもの。
そっか。俺もまあ面白かったかな。
So you're just playing, maybe? I mean, there's not any other ulterior motive, yeah? Mouse followed around all morning, and now in the afternoon as well, it seems. Speaking of which, that reminds me.
イリア、もしかして今日はお忍びか？お城？
そうよ。いい加減慣れればいいのに。私がいなくなったぐらいですぐ大騒ぎするんだもの。本当はいっぱい驚かせる準備してきたのに、2人がいるから全部無駄になっちゃったわ。
ああ、それはなんていうか。
I guess I should thank them. The thought of Ilya trying out some new trick at school is rather scary.
お嬢様。
As speak of the devil, and they shall appear. The maids are approaching from the courtyard, each running while holding the hem of her skirt. Immodest, yet somehow cute.
やはりこちらにいらしたのですね。今後は外出する際にはお声をかけてくださるようお願いいたします。
したくないことはしないって言ってるでしょ。一人で出かけるときは一人でいたいってことよ。そのくらい召使いなら配慮しなさい。
存じておりますが、こればかりは大旦那様からの言いつけでございます。私どももイリアスフィール様の身に万が一のことがなきよう、微力ではありますが身を盾にしてでも。
もうそれが目障りだって言ってるの。心配性なのよセラは。この町には危険なことなんてちょっとしか残ってないし、それだって私をどうにかできるものじゃないわ。
Interesting. So this must have been something, a decree that was made even after she had lost the Holy Grail War? So she didn't get just outright abandoned by her family, to the point where it's just like, just let her go do what she wants, but rather legitimately someone said, yeah, no, make sure she stays safe. After everything played out. That's interesting to know. That is very interesting to know.
それはおっしゃる通りなのですが、危険というものは何も凶暴な姿をしているだけではありません。獅子心中の虫という例えもございます。
Hi, are you talking about me?
普段は取るに足らない存在でも、ここぞという時に造反されては大事になるかと。
Rebel against what? Rebel against what? Wait, why is the blue maid looking right at me?
セラの言い分にしては一理あるじゃない。外敵に対して備えはあるけど、内側から攻められた場合は考えていなかったわ。
You're taking her seriously. Okay, well, shall I just go home and you guys can work this out?
でもそれはそれで面白いかも。
Hold on. Hold up, yeah. I'm asking, why are you looking at me like that, young lady?
敵？白敵？
Don't even joke about it around her.
違う、むしろ煮え。どっちかっていうと被害者に分類される。
白々しい。お嬢様をこのような場所に呼び出しておいて何を言うのです。
Assumptions, assumptions, assumptions.
リーゼリット、エミヤ様は敵ではありませんが味方でもありません。今後お嬢様を悲しませるようなことがあれば容赦なく折檻なさい。
The situation just went from bad to worse. From now on, if Ilya ever cries, the Emir residents can expect a visit from Liz the Hitman to follow right after.
大丈夫。リ リズはああ見えてセラより節度があるんだから。そうね、シローが相手ならいきなり真っ二つにはしないわ。
Why is that your standard? Why is that your standard? You'll be captured and questioned first, follows her reassuring explanation. Good thing they'll still listen, isn't it? Now you'll have a chance to come up with a good excuse, is what she seems to mean by it'll be okay.
お嬢様、私がリーゼリットより節度がないというのは何かの勘違いかと。お嬢様の教育係を仰せつかっているこの私が知性面でリーゼリットに劣ることはありえません。セラのが頭いい。
ほら、リズのが可愛げあるじゃない。記憶容量の差が知性の差ってわけじゃないわ。セラはもうちょっと愛嬌を覚えるべきよ。
Honestly, probably the biggest red flag for someone being quote-unquote intelligent is when they try really hard to define intelligence. For the sake of bracketing off people, basically. Intelligence is a multifaceted concept that applies a lot of things and people define very differently. So break it down a little bit more beyond just intelligent or smart or whatever. Sure. You're good. You could probably make some decent statements off of that. Just being smart or dumb or intelligent or whatever, yeah, you're just doing it as like an insult at that point. Or a way to place yourself above others.
お言葉ですが、私どもに人間らしさなど必要ありません。私たちはお嬢様をお守りできれば良いのですから。
ほんと頭固いんだから。まあいいわ。二人とも私を探しに来たのなら用は済んだでしょ。今夜は早く帰ってあげるから。
かしこまりました。それでは失礼いたします。
Sela adheres to Ilya's strict order. On the other hand, Liz looks rather lonely.
待った、ちょっと聞くけど、二人ってどうやって城まで帰ってんだ？
商店街のパーキングに車を待たせてあります。お嬢様を送迎するためのものですが、一応私も使用を許されています。
使用って運転するってこと？
当然でしょう。疑うようでしたら運転免許証をお見せしますが。
ああ、いや疑ってない、驚いただけ。そっか、そうだよな、あの城遠いもんな。ってじゃあイリアがうちに来る時も？
あれ、知らなかった？一人で来る時は私が運転してるんだけど。
How do you reach the pedals? How do you reach the pedals? A shocking fact has just been revealed just now. The private forest lane is one thing, but to think that there's actually a mysterious silver-haired girl roaring around on public roads. We might be the only ones who don't know about it. That may well be a pretty famous ghost story among the Miyama Town street racers.
で、どんな車に乗ってるんだ？バーサーカー？
You made that joke, game. You already made that joke.
それは別の世界のスーパーカーよ。
Give or take.
じゃなくて、名前はなんだっけ。セラはエンジンの音を聞くたびにワルキューレのゲシュライとかつぶや。
イリアスフィール様、あれはメルセデス・ベンツ 300SL クーペ。10年前の聖杯戦争でもアインツベルンのために活躍した名機です。
あ、そうそう、そんな名前。ただ走るだけの機械のくせに偉そうなのよね。最高時速は270キロとか言ってるけど、そんなの日本の公道じゃ出せないのに。
Yeah, I think there are definitely hobbyists. I have an uncle who honestly is sort of a shithead. For unrelated, well, partially related reasons. Not really related to the fact that he's part of this, but he's done a lot of, you know, casual hobbyist racing with cars like Corvettes and stuff. I have an uncle like that. So I've heard a little bit about that over the years. Basically, you have cars that you bring out to specialized tracks that they let you go high speeds, and that's really the point of it.
ほんと呆れちゃう。特注好きというか、夢見がちっていうか、大量生産って言葉が嫌いなのよね。あの国の職人って。
That is an interesting perspective from you, Ilya. No, Mr. Benz, is it? I don't know if the 300 SL is a famous car with a rich history, but I'm sure it comes with an eye-popping price tag. Mercedes-Benz is a luxury brand at the very least, yeah?
じゃあ坂を降りるまでは一緒だよね。ならそこまで一緒に帰ろう。
You know, there are relatively affordable luxury brands too. Well, I guess it depends on the brand, but typically they have one, especially nowadays, maybe much less so in 2004. They'll have something that has a bit of the look of that. And that was the thing, I guess 2004 wouldn't be fantastic for that either. There was definitely a rise in taking those sort of like luxury, nicer, better looking styles and applying them to more affordable cars over the past 20 years or so. That's been just a trend. Instead of all the cheap cars just looking like, oh, this is a car, great. Instead, they're actually trying to sell them on aesthetics too.
何を言うのですあなたは。不本意ではありますが、お嬢様があなたと二人きりで帰っても良いとおっしゃっているのですよ。100年に一度あるかないかの幸運を何だと思っているのですか。
そうよシロ。今日はシロと一緒に下校するんだから、二人には先に帰ってもらわないと。セラとリズがいたらお城の中と変わらないじゃない。
いや、お城と一緒じゃないだろう。二人で帰るのはいつでもできるけど、みんなで下校するのはめったにないじゃないか。な、だから今日はこのまま帰ろう。長くて登校するたびに嫌気がさす坂だけど、こういう時は役に立ってくれるんだ。は
あ、仕方ないよね。シロがそうしたいって言うなら一回ぐらいは付き合ってあげるわ。行くわよセラ、リズ。特別に坂を降りるまで登校を許します。
申し訳ありませんお嬢様。お心遣いありがたく頂戴いたします。それとエミヤ様、今回の無礼は夢忘れませんように。
Blah 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 blah.
私は嬉しい。シロ、いい人。
Thanks, Liz.
ほんと、シロはおバカさんね。二人は私の召使いなんだから気を使ってあげることないのに。
See, that's a bit of a problematic thing in of itself for you to be thinking. Her harsh words and smiling face telling opposite stories, Ilya heads towards the hill road. The two maids look like they're attached to her back. This is unusual development, but I guess it's nice once in a while.
ところで、なんだって俺のことを追い回してたんだ？
Okay. Like I said, I've had a very fucking long day of things going wrong, so... this might be... It depends what I edit it down to, but this might not be as long as I was wanting to go for, but... I'm gonna leave it there, since it seems like... I have no idea how much longer this might take, so... Yeah, I will continue then, and it feels like outside of the dates pool stuff, mainly I have the main story that I want to do that's left, so... End goal in sight! Yay! No, I've enjoyed it. It's also been a very long journey, and it is nice to see a finish line. And you can just enjoy that final stretch without worrying about that in the slightest too, so... how much longer? That sort of thing. So, I'll leave it there, and I'll be back with you next time on Fate Hollow Ataraxia. See you then. Drive safely, everyone.